Shalom! This is the Saxum Visitor Center run by a Christian fund in Abu Ghosh. This is where the Emmaus Trail begins. It takes about 20 kilometers from here to Emmaus-Nicopolis Monastery in Laton. The weather is also very nice today, good for trekking. So let us begin. Saxum is a Latin word meaning rock. In Greek, it is Petra, which in turn means Peter. The Saxum Visitor Center is a special educational institution that provides an overview of the history of the Bible and the land of the Bible through various multimedia. It can be said to be an organization that helps pilgrimage to the Holy Land and the land of the Bible. You can get information about the Emmaus Trail here. This is the beginning point of the Emmaus Trail. The Emmaus Trail is a gentle descent from the start to the end. Someone brought a sofa here. Well then, let's have a seat. We've just started the Emmaus Trail. But behind me, there is a small mountain. Above that mountain is Our Lady of the Ark of the Covenant Church. When the Ark was captured and then returned by the Philistines, the Ark stayed in Khirbet. It is the church that symbolizes that story. David moved the Ark from Khirbet to Jerusalem. Furthermore, this is one of the candidate sites for Emmaus in the New Testament. Therefore, the Emmaus Trail will be the trail from one candidate of Emmaus to another. Someone is riding a bike up the hill. Upon closer inspection, all four of them were elderly people. They are very impressive. The characteristics of the Emmaus Trail is that it is generally downhill. The steep uphill road comes out once. It's not that there aren't any climbs, but there are only very gentle hills. So it can be said that it is a relatively easy trek. This is a trek that allows you to experience the characteristics of the mountains of Judah with but a glance. If you trek in spring, you can see various flowers, especially the Lebanese cedar, which are growing in the mountains of Judah. The way they grow straight up towards the sky is very impressive. Someone has taken off their shoes. I'm curious, why is that? At first, you have to follow the black trail markings like this. When we came down the hill, a sheep was grazing very enthusiastically. You will come to a fork in front of you, where you must choose the path that leads down along the bottom of the valley. The name of this valley is Nahal Yitla. There are flowers blooming brightly by the roadside. The flower is known in the Bible as the Herald of Spring. Let us have a closer look. In the Bible, this flower is called Sheikh, but in the Korean Bible, it is translated as salgunamu, an apricot. This flower is an almond tree. Then, suddenly, the silence was broken by the sound of approaching vehicles. A group of jeep cars appeared, and the lead car stopped in front of me and asked if everything was alright or if we needed any help. This is because if you have any problems while trekking, the only people who can help are the people who tour with off-road vehicles. As I was walking along the bottom of the valley, I saw a sofa similar to the one I've seen earlier. We'll give it the courtesy and have another seat. After the rain, there were still a few puddles lying around. Rainwater from the valley hills washed away all the soil on the surface, leaving the bedrock exposed. Personally, I was very impressed with this look. From here, it is a steep hill. It's the only harsh hill in the whole trail. When you go up the dirt road, you will come across an asphalt road. Keep following this road and go up the hill. You will come to a fork in the road. Follow the red trail markings and you'll find a dirt road again. As you go up the hill, you can see the whole valley of Nahal Yitla. A little further up from here, you will find the sculpture park. It is surprising that a park like this exists in the mountains, but it has become a great resting place for us. We enjoyed our lunch in the company of the flowers and the beautiful scenery. After lunch, we passed between the two pillars as if we were starting a new trail. Unlike before, I feel it was like walking on top of a mountain. Shortly after starting again, you will come across an archaeological site called Horvat Mezad on the right. This is Horvat Mezad. Mezad means fortress in Hebrew. It has the same etymology as the famous Metzadah at the Dead Sea. 7 strata have been excavated here. The oldest is the Iron Age, and the most recent is traced back to around the 7th century Common Era. From the Iron Age, it appears to have been a control point that likely watched over the road leading up to Jerusalem from the Valley of Ayalon. It was during the reign of Alexander Janus that the first fortifications were built here. The fortress was built during the Hasmonean era, and the part that has been excavated and restored now is a part of the fortress that Herod the Great built. And this fortress here was destroyed during the Jewish revolt and was never used again after that. If so, it means that this fortress stood until the Great Jewish Revolt. When Jesus was going down from Jerusalem to Emmaus, the Roman road passed through this area. It is the fortress built to control the Roman road. Passing through Horvat Mezad around the mountain ridge, kalanites or anemones are in full bloom. It is the same flower as the kalanit in the Negev, but with a different impression. As we went further, we also found cyclamens blooming in groups. As we passed the ridge and descended into the foot of the mountain, we met some tall Lebanese cedar. This time, let's get closer and compare the heights directly. Very tall indeed. That is why the cedar is the most famous timber in the Bible. Jesus' trail was a low mountain area, so we could not see this tree, but the Judah mountain area is a relatively high mountain area, so we can see it here. Going further down, we can finally see the Roman milestones. It's something I've never seen on Jesus' trail. What I see behind me are milestones that mark distances between cities in Roman times. These milestones were made mainly with a square bottom like this, with a cylindrical shape on top. In particular, these milestones were excavated here, and the inscription reads, 14 miles from Jerusalem to Emmaus. In particular, on the pillar behind me, it is written that the Emperor Caesar Julius Verus Maximianus erected it. He was the emperor who ruled from 235 until 238 Common Era. This is the only signpost on the entire trek that says Emmaus Trail. After passing some electrical towers, if you follow the road naturally, you will come to a three-way intersection. It is written in Hebrew only. Follow the sign that says Park Ayalon and turn right. On this road, you will pass under the railroad that connects Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. After passing, the Ayalon-Canada Park, created by the Jewish National Fund, begins on the left. You have to pass through all of this park. This time, we go up over the railroad tracks. The park is so wide that in order to pass it, we must go further than the way we have come thus far. In fact, there are several archaeological sites within the park, but not all of them can be visited, and you should choose one based on your time. In the park, walk along the green trail. Close to the green trail is the Khirbet Akeed. It is a large Jewish village in the Hasmonean period. There are many ruins remaining. The sun was beginning to set, so I picked up the pace. As soon as you pass Park Ayalon, inside the forest on the left, there is the tomb of Sheikh ibn Zhiven, built in 1288. There was an Arab village called Emmaus nearby that was from the Mamluk period, up to the Six-Day War. The name of this village had a great influence on the site being a candidate for Emmaus in the New Testament. After passing the tomb, you will come across Road 3. Walking a little more along the road will bring you to your final destination. Finally, we arrived at our final destination of the day, Emmaus-Nicopolis. The trail is about 20 kilometers long and it takes about 5 to 6 hours. But to us, it took a whopping 8 hours due to all the filming. The road was very pretty and quiet. In the middle of the road, we met a fortress built in the time of Herod the Great, and there were also Roman milestones. There was also a large city built during the Hasmonean period, so it is very likely that this Emmaus-Nicopolis was Emmaus at the time of Jesus. So I highly recommend doing this Emmaus Trail if you have the time and opportunity to visit Israel, the land of the Bible. Thank you for watching then. Now, that same day, two of them were going to a village called Emmaus, about 7 miles from Jerusalem. As they talked and discussed these things with each other, Jesus himself came up and walked along with them. But they were kept from recognizing him. Then their eyes were opened and they recognized him, and he disappeared from their sight.